So do you remember when Blood and Wine released for The Witcher 3 and the game was like 30 hours long and we thought that's it, that's as big as DLCs can get? Well, it ain't nothing compared to Phantom Liberty. So I'm here to talk about the new DLC for Cyberpunk 2077. Just finished it. I have a lot to say about it. It's one of the best DLCs, one of the best games I played this year. And there's a ton to talk about, but before we really get into it, if you enjoy this, please check the channel, like, subscribe, do the YouTube stuff I talk about open world games, so if that's your thing, check the channel. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So this might get a little confusing because when the DLC released, we also got the new update 2.0 for the game. So let's split the video into these two parts, and let's start with the DLC itself. What does it add? Phantom Liberty. It adds a new region to Night City that's called Dogtown, and it really reminds me of the Broken Hearts or Hearts of Stone. That's the one. Hearts of Stone DLC for The Witcher 3. It's not a whole new area outside of the main game. It's inside, but it is special. It does have a lot of unique stuff, and it's very, very dense. That's one thing that I always loved about Cyberpunk, and it shows in the DLC as well. When you look at kilometers wise, it's not that big, but it is really, really dense. Anywhere you look, it's gonna be a special building, something unique, new NPCs to talk to, and it has a ton of side quests, normal quests, just random events. It's a really, really dense DLC that's shoved into this new district in Night City. It's kinda like a mix between the Hearts of Stone DLC and the Blood of Wine DLC from Witcher 3, which to be honest is exactly what I expected from the studio CD Projekt Red. It's one of the best DLCs I ever played, Blood and Wine. And also, the Hearts of Stone DLC was amazing, and it's what I wanted for this game as well. And it's exactly what we got, with even more stuff that I did not expect, other than the new update 2.0. So I'm beginning to ramble, as I always do, so let's keep it focused and talk about the story for the DLC. It takes you to like 25 hours to complete the DLC story, the main focused story. The missions are fun, they're unique, there's a lot of interesting set pieces. The characters are the blood and bone of this game, and they do shine just like the characters did in the main game. The characters I met in this DLC, I'm pretty sure I will never forget it. They're some of the best characters in any game. I don't want to oversell it, but they are really good NPCs. Each one is unique, well designed, with a good backstory and interesting, and just shed a new light on this world that I am really interested in. The world of Cyberpunk has always been interesting, and in this DLC we explore the spy thriller side of it. You have dealings with the government, you have dealings with traders, you have dealings with a lot of stuff that I did question in the main game, and this DLC delves more into it with cyber psychosis, the choice between right and wrong, the whole theme of the game of when you lose yourself and what that means, who you become, is it worth it to go out in flames or die sad and lonely? It really hits home with these themes. And speaking of hitting home, the special ending that you get with this DLC is really fucking depressing. It adds one new ending to the game. Cyberpunk already had like 5 or 6 different endings that you can get. This DLC adds one more, which in my opinion is one of the worst, because it's just genuinely depressing. Even though if you want to look at it just technically, it is technically the best outcome for V, but I don't want to spoil it. It is depressing. I don't like it. It fits in the world, it fits with the themes of the game really, really well, but it is just sad to go through. But I get it, it's part of the game, so that's fine. But the story itself is good. I did enjoy it. It took a really long time. It's way longer than I expected. The characters were fun, the set pieces were really fun. The new weapons are amazing too, but that goes into the gameplay part of it, which we will get into shortly. But for now, the story, it's really great. I did enjoy every second of it. The world is amazing, the characters are amazing, and this whole Dogtown area has a really interesting history and an interesting future as well. So let's take a second to talk about the gameplay. It also ties into the 2.0 part of the game, but it does have some special things that only come with the DLC. For example, the new relic skill tree. It's like 6 or 7, 8 new skills that you can unlock for V, which are tied to the DLC. You cannot get them unless you have the DLC. But they are interesting. They add like gameplay techniques that I think are fascinating, but not that game changing. There's like 2 or 3 of the whole bunch that I actually think are genuinely game changing stuff, but the rest is also fun to play with. It helps you go more deeply into your character, your fantasy cyberpunk protagonist. I played as a netrunner who focused on stealth, so I had the options to build into that, which the build diversity is great in this game. It's one of the best build diversity games out there when it comes to RPGs. I know that deep RPGs like Baldur's Gate can get way too crazy with it and really, really customize your character. This isn't that, it's more like an action game, but it is a very customizable action game, and I cannot wait to replay it with a different mindset and different skills. Because I think it changes a lot. The whole environment of combat missions in this game is really well designed. You have a ton of different options at your disposal for every kind of character. If you're a hacker, if you're a stealth guy, if you're just straight up shooter, melee, everything is open and every mission is designed around having all these options open to you. And I think it's gonna be really fun to replay this game with a special, different kind of character. Now, also in the gameplay area, there's new events that are in the DLC. One of them, the main one you're gonna be doing a lot of the time, is the escort missions for the vehicles that you can find. It's for Al Capitan, one of the main game's fixer characters. He will ask you to take control of a car and deliver it to specific locations. There's going to be different variants of this mission. Sometimes you're going to be followed, sometimes you need to be under a certain time limit. There's different variants. It goes through the whole game, so you can take cars from wherever you find it to a really specific place that is gonna be just randomly selected from the whole map. So this thing is not specific to Dogtown, but you can access it only if you own the DLC. And it's one of the new side event things that are happening in the DLC. Another one is these random supply drops that happen. A random ship will just fly over Dogtown and drop a supply drop. And since Dogtown narratively is isolated from the rest of Night City, this is how they get their stuff, and everyone is fighting over it. So it's a random event that you can do when you see red smoke coming out from some place. It means the supply drop just landed and you can go and fight people over it. So the DLC gives you plenty of randomly generated missions that you can use your skills and weapons at. And that's really a good idea because it's one of my favorite things to do when I maximize my character and just I want to see my character how he works, how the skills synchronize together. And I love these random event things because they do give me an option to test my build. Speaking of builds, do not play this game on the hardest difficulty. It's what I did. I played it on the hardest difficulty, the very hard, and it's really fine most of the time unless you get into a boss fight. Every single boss fight in this DLC, I had to lower the difficulty because it was just straight up too hard. I can't handle it. I tried and I tried and I had more than 10, 20 at sometimes, 20 tries for a single boss and I just couldn't do it, even though my character is really well built. But I had to take the difficulty low. So listen to this advice, do not play on this game, this DLC on the highest difficulty because it's just way too much. Unless you do it like me, where you play on the highest difficulty, unless you reach a boss fight and then take it down a notch and then put it back to very hard. So that's the gameplay. Now let's take a moment to talk about the performance. Performance of the DLC is really okay. It's very hard to run on my PC. I have a 4070, it's a brand new PC, so it's supposed to run most games fine, and it does run Cyberpunk okay, except at specific areas where there's a lot of stress on the machine. But in Dogtown specifically, the main street that you're gonna be going through a lot of the time is really stressing. I don't know if this was just me, but it is really stressing on the hardware. So most of the time I was fine in the DLC. I ran it with ray tracing, 60 FPS, all good, unless I drove through this one specific street, which is sadly the main street, so I did drive through it a lot. The performance just tanks, it goes down to 30. But other than that, the rest of the DLC ran fine. It looks amazing. It's the best looking game I played ever, I'm pretty sure. And it's really an amazing looking game, so I do understand why the stress comes on the hardware, but it doesn't make it any less easy to swallow, you know? I would love to play the game 60 FPS very smoothly, and I can do that if I lower the settings, but with a game that looks like this, it doesn't do it justice if I lower the settings. It just feels bad because you really have to experience this game on the highest settings because it looks amazing. Genuinely, Dogtown is the most beautiful part of Night City, and Night City itself was already an amazing location. This takes it up a notch, the ray tracing, the special effects, just the design of the buildings. It's really well done. and I loved every second exploring Dogtown. And like I said before, it's very dense, so you're gonna see a lot of unique things in this very small part of the map, and it just was a blast to explore. So performance, little itchy, but it is worth it because the places you see are just mind-blowingly well designed. So all in all, that's Phantom Liberty. If you played Blood and Wine, if you played Hearts of Stone, this is right up your alley. It's like those DLCs but in a new age and for a really special game. If you want something fun to play with emotional set beats and really just a heart-wrenching ending and really interesting character beats and just stories and a really interesting location to explore with fun gameplay, if you're like me and you played Starfield and you were disappointed, this is for you. Please give it a shot. Especially now, it's cheap, considerably cheaper than a new game like Starfield, so you have not that much to lose. Play it, try it, let me know what you think, because I think everyone should give it a shot because it's genuinely an upgrade on Cyberpunk, which was already a fine game. So that was the DLC. Now let's get into the 2.0 update for the game. So I did play Cyberpunk on release. As a matter of fact, I played it on PlayStation 4, and shortly after that, I played it on PlayStation 5. It was a really big difference. As everyone knows, the game came out broken. I did enjoy it on PlayStation 5 and even on 4 a little, but I was really disappointed. By then, I was already cold hearted after Fallout 76, which just broke my heart. It came out on my birthday and it was a piece of shit. So I already don't trust companies, and by the time Cyberpunk released, I was already cold. But at the end of the day, they did improve the game a lot. And under all those glitches, there was a solid story and a solid world and just a really fun game. It just needed to be fixed. And with Update 2.0, that fix is out now. There's new vehicle combat, new skill trees, new just vibe, new movement, new weapons, new fighting styles, and the whole DLC that you can buy. It's a lot in this update, and I can't break it down in this short video that I'm making, but what you need to know is the game is fixed now. There's vehicle combat like they promised us, and it feels good. You can hack, you can shoot. It's basically GTA of the future. You can take over whole cars just like you did in Watch Dogs, but even better than that. I feel like it's genuinely an update on the open world formula of it's an update for from GTA 5, from Watch Dogs Legion, from Horizon. It's a really big upgrade that I am enjoying playing through. The open world just feels so immersive with this update. You just go around, explore the city, and you're gonna stumble upon something, and it just has that special Fallout magic, Bethesda magic, where you just get in your car, drive around, and let the city surprise you. Night City is genuinely one of the best places I ever visited in a video game, and I just can't get enough of it. And with this update, it feels even better than before. So other than the new vehicle combat and the new skill tree design, there's also a lot of little stuff that they added with the new update. There's now a transmog system, there's a new outfit system, there's new houses that you can buy. There's a lot of stuff that they added throughout the years, but also with the new update. Basically, what you need to know at the end of the day, this update fixes most of the issues that you had with the game, that everyone had with the game. But just to keep it straight, if you didn't like Cyberpunk and the whole idea of Cyberpunk, you're not gonna change your mind now. In my opinion, the game is amazing, it's fun, it's interesting, and I did enjoy every minute of it. But to put it out there, if you didn't enjoy it or you're just not interested in Cyberpunk, this is not going to change your mind. But if you are, it's for you. Please try it because it is worth your time, and the game is finally what it was promised to be before it released. It's a cyberpunk fantasy where you can be whoever you want, a mercenary in Night City who just does whatever they want. You can meet interesting characters, genuinely some of the best NPCs that I ever saw in a game. Every NPC is so well detailed, with a really good backstory, with a really good design. It's just an amazing world to explore. The whole feeling of it, the shooting, the driving, the stalking, it all feels really good, and the whole game is basically a blast. So that's what I had to say about Cyberpunk, the 2.0 update. I loved it. I loved the DLC. If you played it, let me know. I know this video is kind of rambly, but that's what I do. When I talk about something that I do love, and I genuinely love this game, I ramble a lot. I'm sorry if it sounds way too rambly and you can't follow my thoughts, but I'm gonna try to be more organized next time. For now, if you're interested, check this game out. Let me know what you think of it. Check the channel. I talk about open world games, other stuff that I enjoy. My next video is probably gonna be about Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I wanted to play before, but I didn't get the chance because my PC wasn't good enough. But now it is. So I'm gonna play that game, make a video about it. If you're interested, check the channel. Thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, do the YouTube stuff. And as always, have a nice day.